We are introducing Arewa Youth Mentorship Program. The AYMP is a collection of Northern Nigeria academics and professionals from different spheres of life who volunteer to offer free mentorship and equip Northern Nigeria youth at all levels with necessary knowledge on career opportunities, scholarship grants, personality building, innovation, among others.
Now, today our session is titled Insider's Guide to PEC-PG Brazilian Scholarship and Beyond. And what we're exploring would be not just the education and research, but also careers in South America. You would all agree with me that education and research are among the most powerful tools for transformation. This is both for individuals as well as for society at large. I have seen a number of debates on social media recently, whether education without income is that important. But I guess that would be a debate for a different day. But today we come together to explore the PEC-PG Brazilian Scholarship, which in its upcoming cohort, if I'm not mistaken, will be welcoming 650 students, offering advanced study and research opportunities, as well as rich cultural exchange and meaningful career pathways across South America. Now, although the scholarship offers tremendous opportunities, navigating the application could be quite challenging. Similarly, I know, academic life abroad, it also has its own challenges, as well as career integration. And that is precisely why we're here today, really to learn from an expert, to learn from an alumnus who has experienced, who has a lot of insight to share with us. So whether it's through strategies, through insights, as well as his own personal experiences. Now, ultimately, the question that we aim to answer by the end of this session today is how can young scholars, as well as professionals, leverage these opportunities in order to build impactful careers while contributing to global knowledge as well as development. So our session, as always, will comprise of 4 main points, starting with an introduction or welcome address from Dr. Yakubudul. A lot of you have been with us for over the past 5 years, and you know what we do, but we're always open to getting more feedback, getting more ideas. So Dr. Yakub will kind of talk to you about how you can get involved with the Arewa Youth Mentorship Program, either as a mentor or as a mentee. We'll then give the floor to Dr. Abdulrazak, who's our special guest today for his talk. And then after that, there will be a Q&A session. So you can use the raise hand option, or you can type in your question in the chat box once it's open, and we'll ensure to have that addressed by Dr. Abdulrazak. And finally, we'll have the closing remarks. I know you're all muted, so we don't have to worry about asking you to kind of mute yourself. But once we go on to the Q&A sessions, then you'll be asked to unmute yourself. Dr. Akubo, I'll pass on the virtual mic onto you for your opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tariq, for this kind introduction. I would like to start by thanking Dr. Abdulrazak really for giving us his time, for offering to deliver this very important session, particularly on scholarships. We have been doing so many sessions actually on scholarships, but we have never touched this particular one. And I don't think we have even touched any opportunity from the South American continent. So that's why actually it was particularly interesting. And I personally requested Dr. Abdulrazak to expand, the scope of the presentation, to extend beyond like these particular scholarships and perhaps inform us some of the opportunities that could be harnessed in the South American continent. Looking at the nature, like now the Nigerian situation, people are looking for opportunities, anywhere they can find them in the world. So this session is really timely. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdulrazak, for giving us this opportunity. And secondly, to our participants, as usual, I believe, like I told Dr. Tariq and Dr. Abdulrazak in the opening, or like before we welcome the participants, I know this session people will want to ask questions, and I deliberately refused to share the reminder for this session. Usually I do that on the very day of the presentation, I share the reminder. But for this particular one, I didn't. So I want to like give you the participants who are able to join, who are able to save the announcement on their calendar. I want to give you an ample opportunity to ask questions and to interact directly with the speaker. So I believe whoever joins he really means or she really means business. So thank you very much. And like Dr. Tariq mentioned in the opening remarks, you can always get these sessions, even the past ones, on our YouTube. This one also, inshallah, at the end of this session, it will be uploaded. So it's something you can always revisit. Scholarship applications, as our speaker, I believe, will talk about, is something that comprises many steps. You need to make your CV better, you need to make your SOP and many other things. And we did some of the sessions regarding these particular parts. So I will always advise you to, go and watch those particular sessions to improve those segments, of your application package so that you will improve yourself. So it's always there on the Arewa Youth Mentorship YouTube, and the Telegram page also contains some of the documents, like the samples of the CV and the SOP and many others. So likely, I believe you are all in the group, but I will still share the links to the groups in the chat box. Thank you very much. And I think without wasting much of time, Dr. Tariq, we can start this session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kubuyas. As you rightly mentioned, loads of interesting sessions that we've had in the past. So highly recommended that you have a look at those. But yes, due to the urgency or due to the importance of this particular session, I think it's better if you just dive in to give you the opportunity to hear from Dr. Abdulrazak and also ask questions at the end of his talk. So what we're good at actually is hammering people's CVs. So I hope you wouldn't mind, Dr. Abdulrazak. We've hammered yours as well. Dr. Abdulrazak is an associate professor of biochemistry and molecular biologist and an international seed and food system expert. As I've stated earlier, he's an alumnus of the PEC-PG program where he obtained both his master's and doctorate degrees. He spent several years at the Embrapa and the Universidade de Brasilia, where he contributed to the development of technologies for crop protection. He has over 2 decades of multidisciplinary experience spanning Africa and Latin America and has taught and supervised students at all levels. He's published widely and served as the editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Journal of Biotechnology. Dr. Ibrahim plays a key role in continental initiatives on science, innovation, and institutional capacity building, notably through the Agricultural Research and Innovation Fellowship for Africa and other Pan-African research platforms where he works on technology scaling, biodiversity, biotechnology, and foresight. So once again, thank you very much, Dr. Abdulrazak, for honoring this invitation. I'll pass on the floor to you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Tariq. Thank you, Dr. Yakubu, for those very encouraging opening remarks. For our viewers and participants in this meeting, I bring you warm greetings and thank you for the interest in this presentation. So I will just take a few seconds to share my slides. I have put together a few slides that I think would be useful in this presentation. So just Tariq, confirm to me what you're seeing is the presentation mode and not the presenter's mode.
Yes, we can see the full slide.
Okay, very good. So basically what I'm going to do, earlier my idea was to just share the process, how you would apply for the PEC-PG program and then get the scholarship. But then after a little discussion with Dr. Yakubu, we thought, okay, perhaps it's good to also broaden, like he said, the whole the opportunities that are there in the the Southern American continent, especially in Brazil, also in China, India, in the global South in general. So this is a sort of an insider's guide on how you can really nail this scholarship. PEC-PG, if just in case you're wondering or you haven't had time to check, PEC is an acronym actually of Programa Estudantes de Convênio. It simply means a program for students under a certain agreement. So that agreement is it's a global South agreement that Brazil has with other countries, especially in the global South, including Nigeria. So there's a lot of opportunities for citizens from those countries. So PG is postgraduate. So there's also PEC-G, that's for undergraduates. So that usually doesn't come with scholarship, but many people have actually benefited from it. So this is what my presentation would look like. First, I'll start by introducing myself. I think it's good to give a sort of background. We'll go through the PEC-PG itself, some key deadlines, why Brazil. I'll touch a little about my journey through the Brazilian innovation ecosystem. I'll speak about the language, which is also very important. Then we will pause and then go to the internet, to the website, where I'll take our participants to some basic steps on how to use the Lattice platform, which I will also explain later. Then we finally touch on a bit of beyond PEC-PG. So after you've had the master's or the PhD or postdoc, after that, what's next? So let me start briefly. You see the pictures at the bottom there. The reason why I always insist on trying to say who I am really, because I get a lot of mistaken identity, from Igbo to Ethiopian to Brazilian sometimes. So I'm from Kura. Kura is in Kano. We are probably the largest collection of rice growers in a small community in Africa. So that's me at the bottom there. That was in junior secondary school. So I attended my primary and junior secondary school there. I actually went to an Arabic school. Then I proceeded to Science Secondary School, Kafrin Hausa. From there, I got my first degree in biochemistry from Bayer University, Kano. And then from that point, I had an opportunity to travel to Brazil. So now the most important point I would like to make about my journey, is the fact that I got into an institution where, at the time, it was in Jigawa State. So you see a picture of me there in the third frame. It was in Jigawa State, and we had Jigawa Research Institute. For the first time, a state government established a research institute. This was during the time of Excellency Simon Teraki. So our executive, our CEO at the time was a Brazilian, and so I was sent to Brazil for a short training. 6 months training. And there I saw the opportunity to go back for master's, but I also picked interest in language. So it was the language that really opened the door for me to come back to study at master's level. When I came back, I joined ABU as a lecturer and then went back to Brazil again for my PhD. And from there, a series of events, from Brazil, came back to Zaria, then I've been to Ghana, to Addis, and where we are today. So this is basically my trajectory, but I'll also refer to it in more detail later. And I would like to say that I've been on the biotech space in Nigeria, from supporting the establishment of the National Biotechnology Development Agency. I've done a lot of work in Jigawa. This was during Governor Teraki, then to the Governor, Governor Badaru, then working with the Nigerian Academy of Science, working with the Arewa Elders Forum, all trying to bring some of the knowledge, putting in practice some of the things that I have learned in Brazil and over the last 20 years. So that's about me. Now, let's talk about the PEC-PG. What is PEC-PG? Like I said, is a sort of is an agreement. They call it accordo. I really cannot find the exact word in English, but it's a kind of agreement, intercontinental agreement that Brazil entered with different countries to support citizens from its member countries that signed that agreement with Brazil. So Nigerians are very much qualified, and it covers masters and PhD. So with full scholarship, stipend, and health insurance. They have also started to offer postdoc, what they call sandwich PhD. And it's usually open, like I said, to developing countries. So these are the South, the global South countries. It's an opportunity for Nigerians, because it offers you, I always say that Brazil offers you an opportunity where you see the kind of learning environment in which there's the sophistication of the advanced countries, but also there's the challenge of the developing countries. So when you get into Brazil to study master's PhD, you will see equipment that you will see in MIT, for example, in these big international top tier institutions. But you will also see equipment and frameworks and challenges that you are familiar with back at home. So this is what really makes the Brazilian ecosystem really interesting, and I think in my view, quite effective for most Africans. So how much do they pay? They pay for masters, it's 2,100 reais, that's the Brazilian currency. If you divide that, convert that to dollar, somewhere around $350 per month, really very small. Quite insignificant if you compare it to maybe studying in the UK, but really very effective because the cost of living is much lower in Brazil. So if you put that, let's say you go as a staff from a university, your salary will continue to be paid, and then you put that together, you see that it will help a lot. So with the amount of money, for example, a state government that invest in training one individual in the UK, you can use that same money to train 20 in Brazil. So that's the point here. So there's doctorate degree, there's postdoc, and so on. So the current call is open, and there are opportunities for PhD and masters, and then opportunities for postdoc. And for the MSc and PhD, it closes September 29th of this year. So there's a link which we will touch on, and I'll also drop, and I'm sure Dr. Yakubu and the team will share with those of you who might be interested in applying. But the deadline is September 29th for PhD and masters, and then there will be selection later. Probably there's some mistake in the dates there. You get the correct ones. Also, there are opportunities for postdoc, and I think this is really very interesting. I have noticed I've been working in the space of capacity development, working with a lot of fellows that are undergoing training at masters and PhD. So I have noticed the increase in the number of PhDs, and now there's more demand for postdoc opportunities, and I'm sure many of the participants here will be interested in that. So we'll share the link, and you then follow. Now, in terms of why Brazil, like I said, I started to say, Brazil has world-class universities. These are universities that are really recognized globally, academically. They are very high ranking, top. But at the same time, they offer you that opportunity. If you're coming from the third world, they offer you the opportunity to see yourself in an environment that really mimics your home country, your home situation, but it challenges you to really innovate, because it offers you also some of the instruments you might normally find in the advanced high-level countries like US, UK, and Europe. They have a very strong biotech agriculture, health, engineering, even law, and the humanities. I know a lot of students, a lot of Nigerians that have studied different fields, including humanities. It also offers you an opportunity to immerse yourself culturally. I've read somewhere that every time you learn an additional language, there's an opportunity for you to double your income. I think to increase your income by 40%. And I have actually seen this. So I know a lot of people, they tend to have this phobia for language. Oh, my challenge is the language. What I always tell my students, fellows that I manage, mentees, is to tell them to be open-minded about these languages. You never know if you really have the knack for language until you are in the environment that challenges you to discover that. And this has happened to me. I completed my NYSC in Igbo land in Abia State. And that was the first time I discovered that I could understand another language. So I went to Abia with my English, Hausa, small Arabic, and then I started to learn Igbo. And by 6 months, I was speaking Igbo. I put it in my curriculum, I can speak Igbo. So then I realized, okay, then it means I can always create another space for another language. And that's really what happened. So when I found myself in Brazil, I then learned the Portuguese language. Then I found myself in Accra and with time to study French because I saw the similarities. Then I put myself in a French school, and then I learned to speak French. Then I realized Portuguese is quite similar to Spanish. Let me brush it up a little. Then I see. So that is it. Normally, if I wasn't challenged, if I was not out of my comfort zone, my Hausa or my English, I probably would not have discovered that. So Brazil offers you that advantage, and this language, it will set you apart. More and more, especially now in Africa, for example, there's this convergence around having a common African framework, whether it's agriculture or science or health. And there are key African Union languages, and Portuguese is one of them. You do not really see many people speaking that language. Then it fosters strategic partnership in the global South, like I mentioned. So now in terms of the application process, eligibility, first you have to have a BSc, a first degree, or master's if you're going for PhD. You have to set aside key documents that are really neatly put together. So you have to prepare comprehensive documents, your statement of problems, personal statements, showcase your academic achievement. And then the selection process, it's really on merit. You do not, there's no shortcut to it. There's a process that they put in place. And really, if you meet it, you will get it. And they have a very, very robust and iron cast process that really selects it. But what I also can say is there's paucity of spaces for those of us from Nigeria, from northern Nigeria, for example. You see that sometimes some of those spaces are left unattended to because people do not really apply. So in the center of this screen that I'm showing you here, there's a link, inscrição.caps.gov.br. We will come to it, but you can copy, take a picture of this link, and we will come to it later. Now, moving forward, okay, now let me come back again to my journey, just to also drill down the point about what Brazil offers, what experience in Brazil offers. So I went to Brazil, I got my master's and PhD in this Universidade Federal de Ceará and Universidade Federal do Brasil. And these opportunities really opened doors for me to progress through conducting cutting-edge research, leading a patent that's tied to my name, right? So Brazil, like I said, it offers you that opportunity, and I will discuss it later. Again, I learned Portuguese, so and some of the tricks you can learn, like I said, the first thing is to not feel intimidated about learning a new language. Really, what I have discovered about the human mind is that once you put it, and I'm sure many of us will know that, once you put it in that challenging situation, it's resilient. So ask yourself, find out, you probably have that talent, you probably have that knack. Some people don't. You probably have that knack to learn an additional language, and you will really never regret it. And again, to remind you that study about, for every additional language you learn, your income potentially increases by 40%. And I've seen this in many, many, many spaces. It helps you. So this is what has helped me to build a career and I've formed a lasting relationship with people across different. I've been to literally almost every African country with linkages to a lot of institutions and people in Brazil, in Europe, and so on. So you see, I started from BUK, from that first picture. When I was looking for this picture this morning, when I found it, I sent it to my alumni WhatsApp group, and everyone was really excited to see it. So I first went to Brazil, was trained for a few months on tissue culture, came back and then went for my master's and went back for PhD, up to a point where this also helped me win a grant, because even as a PhD student, we put together a proposal that we submitted to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation at the time, and we won $50,000. And with that $50,000, I managed to facilitate the training of some of my colleagues from ABU Zaria in Brazil. We also acquired and equipped a laboratory in Zaria. So that's where I'm sitting in the lab with the lab coat. That what you're seeing, the machine you're seeing there, is a gene gun. It's what is used to transform plant cells. So if you use that technology to genetically engineer crops, and we've published some work from it. And again, to talk about the innovation ecosystem in Brazil, like I said, in Brazil, they have what they call Embrapa. Embrapa is the largest Brazilian agricultural research corporation. So in Nigeria, it's like saying Agricultural Research Council, where you have different research institutes. So the Embrapa, the quality of research from Embrapa is so high that they really support all the different academic institutions in the country. So you might be a student. I was a student in University of Brasilia, but I was conducting my experiments and research work in an Embrapa facility. And that was what gave me the opportunity to invent, and develop a method, a novel technology for the control of whitefly, which we patented. You can see the patent there. So, and Brazil really does that to you. And I can tell you that every one of you here who might be interested in going to Brazil to study can potentially achieve this, because it challenges you and it allows you to combine the sophisticated and high-level equipment and the rudimentary and crude methodology to come up with something really new and novel, like this control, this white control, whitefly, the control of whitefly. Now, in terms of mastering the language, like I said, it's really very, very important. So you can start now. You can start learning Portuguese language. These days, there are so many avenues online where you can practice the language. You can create groups to study. You can, really dedicate yourself, because if you put in respect and effort in the things that you do, it will open doors. And I'm putting an example of those two pictures you see there on the left-hand side. So that was me during my master's degree. Everyone you see in that picture were my classmates in our Portuguese class, right? So these were Germans and French people from other countries who were studying Portuguese together. At the bottom, that's me shaking the hand of the Brazilian president, the president of the Brazil, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. So that's what I mean, you know, putting effort really opens doors. Now, also in terms of life in Brazil, I know many people will be wondering, what is life like? First of all, it's affordable, although you'll be earning very small amount compared to those in Europe, but it's this low cost of living there. You have vibrant student life and activities. There's a lot of cultural and extracurricular activities that you can engage in. For example, in my time, I was part of a cycling group you see in the picture there. There's a vibrant Nigerian and African groups. Currently, I'm managing over 200 fellows who are studying in Brazil through a program from where I work in FARA. And they have Association of Nigerian Students in different universities. We go there and support them. Now, also, there's a very important point that I need to make about Brazil, because it's an extremely culturally liberal country. So a lot of the things that you take for granted at home, they'll just shock you. All right, there's this whole idea of Western liberalism, this exposure to free thinking, to open dressing, you know, the manner of dressing, sexual orientation, all those sort of things. So you really need to prepare yourself. You have to have the soft skills to really be able to navigate and manage those challenges. You know, of course, there's also some level of racism. We cannot ignore that. So you have to really equip yourself also. You have to have the emotional intelligence to tackle it, because you've also found there's racism that's unique to Europe, racism that's unique to the Arab world, even among ourselves. You know, back in Africa, we have our own kind of racism. So those points are important, you know, to prepare yourself to them. Now, key pathways, you know, where can you go after acquiring your degree from Brazil? You know, there are academic positions that you can take globally within Brazil or outside. There are regional and global opportunities that you can clinch in development organizations like the CGIAR, the UN system, you know. So Brazil is a gateway to international mobility, is to serve as a springboard for career opportunities. And it also helps you to support others, because you see yourself. Currently, for example, right now, I have a lot of classmates in Brazil that are professors, leaders of research and development, some of them actually even politicians, with whom I have a social capital to really recommend people to study with them. And I will show you an example shortly. So like I said, you know, these things, they do not happen just like that. It's usually because of the help we receive from others that we attain certain level of greatness. So for me, and I think for everyone, if you are where you are, it's because you have been standing on the shoulders of giants, people, your teachers, your mentors, your parents, of course, number one, but you also have teachers and mentors. So, and I single out these 4 individuals that I'm putting here on the screen. The first is Malam Ibrahim Adamu Umar, or Malam Ibrahim Kotarlu. He's currently special advisor to the Jigawa state governor. And he was the first person to really help me, you know, pursue that ambition of wanting to really excel. He was my junior secondary school teacher. He taught me mathematics. He's very famous in Kura, my hometown. So he really mentored me, and that was it. It was from there, then through him, then I got opportunity to work in Jigawa, where I worked with Senator Ibrahim Samuel Turaki, was the governor at the time, working in research. And so that's me and him. When I returned from Brazil, we had this project we were running together across Benue and Cross River State. he really supported me, he's like a mentor. It was through, his support that I even got the first training opportunity. Then Ibrahim Hassan Hadeja, barrister Ibrahim Hassan Hadeja, he's currently, I think, the chief of staff, deputy chief of staff to Excellency Kashim Shatima, our vice president. He was the deputy governor of Samin Taraki. He wrote the recommendation letter that I used to apply for PEC-PG at masters. He was one of the two that gave it to me as a deputy governor then. And then finally, Professor Yemi Akimbamijo, who was also my former ED in FARA and has really supported it. So while I was in Brazil, I wrote an article about biotechnology and so on, and we got in touch virtually. And through that, I ended up in FARA, and he has really supported me. So what I'm trying to say is that look out for mentors, recognize these giants that put you up there, and have the mind also to help others, to be mentors to others when you are in a position to do that. So I'm going to tell you the story of Olu. Olu, this guy, he was a youth corps member in Jigawa Research Institute sometime in 2005 when I was pursuing my master's degree in Brazil. So he came to Jigawa Research Institute. He's from Oshun, I think. He came to Jigawa as a youth corps member, and then he heard my story. This guy, he went to Brazil, got a scholarship there. So he sent me an email and asked me, how did I do it? And I explained to him. When I came back, after I completed my master's, he came to me. I was in Zaria at the time. He met me, and then I took him through the process, how you can apply, how you can learn Portuguese, and so on. So as I'm speaking to you right now, this guy is a professor of pharmaceutical science in Brazil. So you can see how just one single opportunity can open doors for someone, and it's because he was persistent and he was really patient. So and there are others like him, but his was just, for me, is quite remarkable the way he picked that up. So at this point, Dr. Tariq, Dr. Yakubu, I think I want us to have a brief stop so that I can change the presentation mode to share with colleagues the website where I will demonstrate. First, I will demonstrate the page where you can apply for the scholarship, the PEC-PG. But I think even more importantly, I will share with colleagues how they can register, how they can build their curriculum CV on the Plataforma Lattice, because Plataforma Lattice is a prerequisite to this application. So I want to get to that, but I also want to make sure that my presentation so far has not been very boring.
No, not at all. It's been really amazing, to be honest. I think you find touch on a number of different things which I would want to talk on. Well, I can do that now while probably you're pulling that up. I think we just found out now that you're a polyglot, which is amazing. I think learning a new language, it's very amazing. And as you've mentioned, I think always we tend to look at what would be the impact, what would be the aim. Why should we waste our time to learn new things? But as you've mentioned, in addition to it being, opening those doors, also economically, you see that increment, whether it's 40% or something like that, as you mentioned, in revenue or income that you get out of that, which is very amazing. The Portuguese language, you've mentioned, it's one of the languages, especially in this case, that's very, very important to kind of look at. But I think another very important thing that you've mentioned is that long-term vision. What is next? Because a lot of us, I myself have been in that situation where we've had a bit of a narrowed vision in terms of, okay, the plan is to go and get a PhD. And once you get a PhD, yes, of course, we had our jobs back then the plan was to finish our jobs and, continue your jobs. But I think there should have been more thoughts into that. Like, what do you do after that? And I think that's something that really our younger ones and other people that are thinking of applying to these projects to really iron out. Okay, you have a plan A, you have a plan B. What happens if this doesn't work out? You need to have a short and medium and a long term vision or a plan, which is very good. Mentorship, that's what we've been trying to do. I think that's another important thing. As you've mentioned, to identify mentors who we can look up to. This would be role models that we can always get in touch with in order to kind of support and also guide us. But not just that, but also to support others when we get the chance to. The example that you gave is it's an amazing one where someone traveled all the way from a different part of the country just because he has that vision, he has that patience, that persistence, to get to where he wants to get to. So yeah, I think it's amazing. The talk so far has been very, very interesting, and I'm sure there's going to be quite a lot of questions after that. But not to take too much of the time now, I think I'll just let you carry on with your talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tariq. And it's interesting you touched on the long-term vision. Really, what I always tell my colleagues, mentees, is to tell them to look beyond their environment. I always, I've found myself in so many circles globally, global platforms, and I just introspect, and I have that feeling, okay, this is me, that guy from Kura, from Kura local government. But because those people have helped me, and of course, there's the sprayer also, there's log, there are so many, a combination of factors, but there's that consciousness of thinking beyond your own environment. So don't imagine that your chance, don't imagine that your job, your ideal job is in the university in Kano, for example, is in a ministry in Kano. Imagine that your job is in a department in African Development Bank. It's in the UN, because really there are so many people in those spaces and they're not better than you. They just happen to have, the link and the insight and the persistence and the knowledge and the intuition to pursue that. So maybe we can organize a different session for that sometime, but I think this is really something very, very critical. So for the application to apply for the current scholarship PEC-PG, also I need to say, for many of the courses, Portuguese, being proficient in Portuguese is a prerequisite. But Brazil has, over the last 5-10 years, has been also changing, internationalizing their academic institutions. So there are many, many institutions that accept students without necessarily demonstrating that they have proficiency in Portuguese language. And in any case, in most cases, it's a matter of understanding between you and your potential supervisor, as I will demonstrate to you later. So the link that I shared earlier, that's inscrição.com.gov.br, it leads you to this manual where it takes you through the process of how you can register to apply for the CAP scholarship. But it starts with requesting you to register your ORCID. So if you don't have, all of you here, if you do not have an ORCID, ORCID is Open Research Contributor Identity, right? So it is something like LinkedIn. There are so many of them. There's Scopus ID, there's Thomson Reuters, different digital identifiers that are designed to distinguish researchers. So if you don't have that, please, after this presentation, be sure to register yourself there. It doesn't matter your field, whether you're in science, you're studying Arabic, or you're a major in Hausa, in whatever field you are, you're part of a global body of knowledge. So ORCID registration is an efficient way to make yourself visible globally. So the process starts by you registering yourself on ORCID, and then you link your ORCID to the Brazilian own ORCID, which they call Plataforma Lattes. And I will show you how you can do that registration. So once you create ORCID, you then go and register you link your ORCID to the Plataforma Lattice of CAPS. There you then build your CV. So you have an ID, user ID, you create a password, you move on, you enter the details, you enter your bio data, the same thing, everything in your CV, your bio data, your publications, your education, your history of work, and so on. Once you link that, it is then that you will now be given access to so this is the linkage. You link your ORCID, first you link your ORCID to Plataforma Lattice, and then from Plataforma Lattice, you then move on to create another profile that will take you to the registration, to register for this scholarship. So this presentation, let me tell you, we do not have enough time to go through one after another this step, but with this presentation and with this manual, and I'm sure Dr. Tariq and Dr. Yakubu will share the links and the documents. I will also share the presentation with you. You will be able to, in the space that we have is not enough to go through every detail, but this is the process. First, you need to have an ORCID. From ORCID, you go to Plataforma Lattice. From Plataforma Lattice, then to registration to apply for the scholarship. And then in the application, there are a series of normal forms that you fill, your data, your academic background, and so on. So everything here you will do on your own. You will practice, but I'm sure this guide will help you. But here is what is most important. The most important thing is how to get, because this platform, the CAPS, in it, you apply, you put your CV, you put your credentials. There are two other requirements that you need. Number one is what they call Cartaji Aseti, your acceptance letter. Your acceptance letter. That acceptance letter is supposed to be written by your prospective supervisor. Your prospective supervisor in Brazil, in any Brazilian university that is part of the courses listed for you to apply for. So that professor is supposed to write a letter and tell you and mention that I have accepted this person to become my future MSc or PhD or postdoc student. So you can see how this is important. So you will ask me, how can I get that? I don't know anybody in Brazil. I don't know how to do that. So, and in fact, for me, this is the backbone of this presentation, to show you how you can look for professors in Brazil, reach out to them, contact them, and there will be, one thing about Brazilians is that they are really always very open and willing to help at professional level. You know, everyone that you contact, they're keen, because, you know, as some of you who might eventually go to Brazil will find out, Brazil is almost like Africa in its soul. When you get into Brazil, you find that these people are really like us, despite the differences, despite the differences in color. So this manual, I'll make it available, and you go on your own to fill the form. But I will take you to where you will you will find out how you can get in touch with those professors. So Tariq, please guide me once again, because I'm switching the tabs.
Okay.
So are we on a tab that has a, this
CNPQ.
yes,
Yes.
NPQ, Lanza, Shamadas, etc.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this page is where you have the access to Plataforma Lattice, where you have access to the digital identifier of everyone who is doing anything in research in Brazil. And when you come, you can see that it's in Portuguese language. I know that some computers will allow you to change. I don't see it. Okay. I don't see it here, but at the top, usually some systems allow you to change the language so that you see everything in English.
It could be the country sometimes, probably the flag, I mean.
If I click,
Yes.
okay, let me click on
Oh,
the
it might not be. No, it's not. No.
It's not.
Apologies for that.
Yeah, it's okay. There is, it's somewhere. I'll try to find it as we move along. But if you remember anything on this page, you can forget about everything on this page. Just remember Plataforma Lattice. My cursor is on it now. Remember Plataforma Lattice. Then click on it. It will take you to a new page. Are we all seeing the new page?
Yes, yes, we can.
Harry, help me do that. Yes. So it has taken you to a new page. When you come to this page, you see this Busca curriculum. Busca means search in Portuguese. Busca curriculum means search for curriculum, search for a CV. So if you click it, it will take you to another page. Are we on the next page?
Yes, we are, yes.
Great. Now, luckily, this page gives you access. It has the option of English, as I can see here. You see the icon at the top? The UK flag at the top there? I'm pointing at it. Is it visible? Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
So right now, the page is in Portuguese. I will click on the UK icon, and now it's in English. So you can search by name. You can see, search by name, search by subject, search those who are PhDs, search those who are not PhDs, search for Brazilians, search for those who are foreigners. This is the page where you will search. If you're, let's say I'm doing research on cotton, or I'm doing research on human rights, or I'm doing research on urban planning. If I write cotton in the search box here, if I write cotton and tick search by name, okay, so I will select subject because this is subject, right? I'll look for people with PhD. I'll look for Brazilians. I'll search in all countries. Then I will click on search. You see this? It's giving you a list.
Yeah.
Everyone you are seeing here is a professor, is a scientist that is working on cotton in Brazil. So if you click on their name, so let's click on this second guy, Antonio, because the first one, Eduardo Masapuzo, okay, I can click on him. Let's click on him. You see, it will open his or her CV. And then you come to this icon. It says Abri curriculum. There's also Contato. So Abri curriculum will open the person's CV to you. And you can go through their CV and check their where they are working, which university they are working. This guy, his Universidade Aberta Fundação de Apoio à Pesquisa Agropecuária de Mato Grosso. So this is him. And then if you go on to check his publications, you might see publications that are relevant to your area of research. And with that, once you identify that person, or you identify the university that they are working in, you can go on separately on Google, search for the university, look up that person in their department, see their work, and so on. Then you come back to this place. You see where you say Abri curriculum. Abri curriculum is open curriculum. There's also Contato. Contato, it means enter in touch, get in touch with him. So if we click Contato, it will give you this box. You write your name. So I'll write my name, Abdulrazak Ibrahim. I'll write subject. Search for, I have tried to simulate this earlier. So search for placement. Or you can give the subject PEC-PG, opportunity for PEC-PG, whatever. Then you write here, greetings, dear sir, my name is Abdulrazak Ibrahim. I'm a student of biochemistry. I concluded my master's in this and this. I am currently looking for opportunities for PhD and trying to secure scholarship through the PEC-PG program. I'll be very honored if you could give me the opportunity to present to you my research proposal, or also the way you will craft your email. Since you have already done your check on the guy, you have seen his CV, you have seen his publication, so you know the kind of area, you know the way you will craft your email to appeal to him or her to accept you. And they are really, really looking for opportunities. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for people to train. So let's go back to the search again. Let me just show you an example, because I don't want to send email to just anyone. So let's try to do the Busca curriculum again. Now let's again click on the English icon. So it's in name now. I'll type my name, Abdulrazak Ibrahim. So you can click. If you know the person has a PhD, or you're looking for people without PhD and so on, you click. When you click on search, it will bring my name. So as it shows your name, as it shows the name of the person, it will also show their countries. So I'm saying all of us here in this meeting, in this presentation, that are interested in working in Brazil or pursuing masters, so we need to register on this platform, because it gives you visibility, it gives you access. So if I click on this CV, it will give you an introduction of who the person is. You can open the CV and see. So all of us should have this kind of CV. It will have an introduction. It will have how your name is written in your citation. What is the link? What is your nationality? What is your address? Where did you study? And one thing very interesting about this platform is that if you claim to study in Brazil, you studied master's or PhD, you have to enter the name of the person that supervised you and enter the title of your PhD or master's thesis. And then the system will go and contact that university. It will contact that your supervisor to confirm, to validate. So when you see this seal, this gold seal, it means it is confirmed. So it's not chua master's or PhD. The same for masters. We don't have it. I don't have it in my Bayero University degree, because the institution has not registered with the platform. So that's it. So there you see everything about you. You can enter all your details. And so now let's go back. Let's say, let's get in touch with this person. So in this case, myself, just as an example. So again, I will write my name. I will say search for placement. I'll type everything I need to type. Please make sure you type in good English. No spelling mistakes. Don't write I in small letter. all those rules, grammatical, these are very important things, because the first signal, the first contact that you have with people, they judge you for the rest of your life, even if you change later. All right. So as they say, first impressions last long. So you click, I'm not a robot. This is no so hobo. It means I'm not a robot. And then you send. So if I send this now, this FFFF that I've written there will be sent to my email, because that's my email at the top there. So it will come, and I will see the message that somebody has searched for my CV, and they're soliciting for placement in my. So with the interaction, you have a lot of time, because we have between now and I think September. Start now. Immediately we finish this presentation, start searching, compile them first, in a list, in a Word document, maybe in your computer. Write the name of the person, the link, the CV link, and then contact them one after another. Painstakingly go through this process. You can send this same message to 40 professors. Maybe 2 or 3 will respond to you. You only need to succeed once. And once they pick interest in you, and that's it, you get your a PhD or master's or postdoc opportunity. So this is the demonstration that I wanted to share. We will now return to my presentation, because I have a few more slides to share before we go to the Q&A section. But I want to also ask Tariq, how am I doing with time?
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful, Doc. I think it's been very clear. And just again, to pick on just a single point, that point that you've talked about message, about contact, being clear, being specific, ensuring that that first impression is something that you've done really well. I've seen a number of instances where people tend to kind of tell stories, make it very personal, to say that, oh, we haven't had anything to eat, like this would be an opportunity where, once I get it, making it too personal, not so much with regards to the quality of the work, what the impact of what you'll be doing, but making it more or less socially aligned in terms of, once you get the opportunity, you just want to Japan, things like that, So I think people need to be very, very cautious in terms of what they, being considerate and ensuring that really what you're putting in is, going to give you that good first impression.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, actually, for hammering on that point. And it's really very important. We are on Facebook, we're on social media, and we get this kind of messages. People, they want to ask you something maybe about scholarship, about opportunity, but they come in and say salam, and then they stop there. All right. They want you to respond first before. Nobody has time for that. Somebody contacted me, they sent me an email, and what they wrote is just find attached. And in that, they attached a document asking questions about PEC-PG. Because I saw the way that the name of the file saved is PEC-PG. I did not open it because there's no. First of all, I had to flag it. It could be a malware. It could be phishing, something that will come to harm my computer. I know probably that's not the case, but the way you write it. If you don't know how to write email, please find out. These days there's ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT and ask it. Type the things that you want to write and tell it, I want to send this email to this and this person in search of a scholarship opportunity under this. Refine this text for me or develop it. It will do it for you. So you clean it up and then you copy it, paste it somewhere, clean it further, and then send it to your email. So that approach is really very important. Don't expect people to just jump at you or feel pity for you, because there are millions of people that are probably in worse situation than you are. So when you start to, that's actually corruption even, when you start to appeal to emotions or start to appeal about money really is not your focus in this case, because you're looking for opportunity to build yourself, to create opportunities where in the future, because if you follow the path, then the money will eventually come, right? So let me go back to the presentation quickly here. All right, so this is where we are.
Yes,
I've already explained to you how it works. So the Plataforma Lattice is a comprehensive repository of the Brazilian academic profile. Like I said, you can use it to find supervisors, laboratories, and publications. So I've already shared the demo, how you can get it. Now, again, I want to, after your PEC-PG, you've gone to get your PhD and master's or postdoc, you need to maintain relationship with your supervisors, with your colleagues back there. So I'm sharing this picture. This guy is my supervisor at PhD level. His name is Professor Francisco Aragon, very senior scientist, member of the Brazilian Academy of Science. Since my graduation, I've had the privilege to travel back to Brazil. We have been in touch, like I said, with him as a co-partner, we established a gene gun system in ABU's area. I've sent him a number of students. I've invited him to give presentations in African events, supported us with a number of projects, So give back, not just to your alma mater where you came from, but to your country, so that you mentor other people, link your supervisors with other younger people that can also learn from them. Not exploitation, all right? Don't ask for money. You're not asking for money. You're not asking for favor. You're demonstrating that you have something to offer. You're demonstrating that you're from Nigeria, and these are your problems, development problems, and you think that research in this area can help you solve them. Your research must always be about solving your local problems. And Brazil, for those of us who are in the agricultural sector, Brazil is a leader in tropical agriculture. Almost, I never forget, there's someone, may his soul rest in peace. His name is Professor Callistus Juma. He once wrote to me, we were exchanging. He saw something I wrote and we exchanged. And it was at the time I was in Brazil. He asked me, "What are you doing in Brazil? Interesting country, nice." I spent also time in, and then he said something. He said, "For every African problem, there's a Brazilian solution," and I really agree with him. For every development problem that we have, whether it is school feeding program, whether it's problem with biotechnology, or problem addressing our environmental management, problem of using maybe some economic models, problem of adopting some legal system, or biosafety regulations, Brazil is the right place to learn, because we are part of the same agroecological belt, if you look at the map. All right. So there's power in Brazilian mentorship. And, just to say that, I went from Kura to Kazori, where we were in Research Institute, to Zaria, to Accra, to Addis Ababa, all over the place, simply because, I took the decision to learn that Portuguese, and it opened doors. And of course, there are people behind, and I followed through this whole process. So let us also learn from that, the dedication, the passion, and the open-mindedness to learn, and to be happy to leave our comfort zone. Yesterday, I was speaking with one of our fellows. He got a scholarship in Brazil. Also, he'll be traveling next month. And he was complaining about, he has spent so much money, even the ticket, he doesn't know where to get it. He's asking for a loan to be able to buy a ticket, and so on. Then I told him that he shouldn't really worry, that it will be fine. and that he's making investment in himself. And I want to tell you that when I went for Brazil, when I went for my master's degree, and this is important because when you get this scholarship to travel, they don't send you ticket. You have to buy the ticket yourself because you have to demonstrate that you're serious. So in many cases, they have bought, maybe, I think that's why they don't buy it. They have bought tickets for people, and then they go into Brazil and then they disappear. So they want commitment from you. So in my time when I went for masters for PEC-PG, I had to buy the ticket. So at the time I had this old Honda Accord car. I sold it. I sold my old desktop. I sold, including some of my clothes, some, nice shoes. I just traded them, put together money, and paid for my ticket. And I arrived in Fortaleza. That's the city where I studied. I completed my master's with $300, right? And it took about 2-3 months before I started to receive the scholarship. So invest in yourself. Don't feel like this is a waste of money. Invest, of course, ask for help from those who really can help, but this is worth doing. So here, just to share with you a few of some of my contributions, and most of them, they come from the work that I did in Brazil. I continue to supervise students, though I'm on leave of absence from ABU at the moment, but I do engage, continue to pursue my, which is why I'm not a professor. A lot of people call me professor, even before my PhD. So I still engage with people, with students in the university and elsewhere, including some of the fellows, to supervise their work. Again, some further examples of some of the work that I have published. So tips, again, start early. Let us start now, today. Begin gathering and preparing all the application materials. And let me also remind you that you have to take your academic credentials, your transcript, and your certificates and your WAEC result. You have to take them to Ministry of Education for stamping. And from there, you take them to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So start now. Even if you don't get the scholarship, you will have those stamps ready for other opportunities. You need to put together a strong research proposal. It's a very, very key differentiator. Put a lot of effort in bringing a compelling and well-structured proposal. Check on the CNP, on the platform lattice, make sure that your proposal, what you're proposing, aligns with the work of that supervisor. Connect with people, like you're doing now, participating in this meeting. I'm sure Dr. Woodil and Dr. Tariq will continue to support and handhold you. I am also available. Can come through me, through Dr. Tariq, or individually. I'll drop my email somewhere. Also, show motivation in your in the way you're packaging your proposal. Clearly articulate your specific interests. I gave you one key point, which is the compatibility, the agro-ecological similarity between Brazil and Nigeria. In fact, if you put the map of Brazil and Africa together like this, if you push them, you will see that everything in that part from Nigeria, it will just fit into Brazil. So that's to show you that we are originally from the same kind of geographical features. So so this means most of the research that work there can work in Nigeria also, and many parts of Africa. Finally, key takeaways. That's me standing in the office of CAPS, which gave me this scholarship twice. PEC-PG is affordable. It's world-class. So begin gathering and putting your application materials. Present strong research proposal. Seek for mentors. And like I say, anyone can do it with the right approach. And I want to thank you in various languages. Obrigado. Ndabo, Dalunu, for my brothers speaking Igbo, Nagode, Mieti, Ngaya for my Kanuri friends, Murakoze Siani for those of you in Rwanda. Thank you so much. We can now move to the Q&A sessions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor. You've amazingly started with languages and concluded with languages as well. So what an amazing presentation. Thank you very much. I think without taking any time, we'll just dive into the question and answer session, unless if Dr. Kubu, or I think I've seen Professor was here earlier. I don't know if she's still here. There might be a comment or two from the organizing committee. Dr. Akubo or Prof, do you want to add one or two things before you go into the Q&A?
I think Prof is there, yeah. Let Prof speak.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Tariq, for the marvelous handling, which you have always done. And I want to really just sincerely thank Dr. Abdulrazak Ibrahim for the presentation. It's been very wonderful. We've had a lot presentation on scholarships, but I think this one really beats all the others. And because it's also unfamiliar ground, Brazil, South America, I think this gives a great opportunity for our people and knowing that you had the experience and therefore being able to share with us, I believe the young people would be able to go for this. And I have the belief that many of them will get it, especially if they all listen once again, play it back again and listen very well and jot down. Thank you very much for coming to Arewa Youth Mentorship. Over to you, Dr. Tariq.
Thank you, Prof. Really appreciate that wonderful comment. Dr. Akubu, do you have any comment, or should we go on to the Q&A? I can't see any other member of the organizing committee.
Let's go to the Q&A. Let's go to the Q&A.
Yes, I can see there's loads of people trying to ask questions. You can also use the chat box to type in your questions. If you could be as direct as possible, straight to the point, please, just so that we can get as many questions as possible. First is Adamu Ibrahim Muhammad. If you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, sir, for this your wonderful presentation. My question goes as this. I have also applied for the just concluded GCUB International Mobility that was also conducted by the Brazilian government. So I don't know whether there is a kind of synergy between the PEC-PG and the GCUB. And also, secondly, my question is that I have already started creating my own CV, my CV on the platform letters, but I've been experiencing some challenges when adding my publications. I have a lot of publications, but I find it very difficult for me to add on my publications. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Doctor, are you happy for us to pick a few, or do you prefer to answer as we go along?
No, I can take a few more so that I respond to them all at once. Yeah.
Thank you. Allow Ibrahim, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Hello, are you there? If not, I can see Dr. Maji. Dr. Maji is one of the members of the organizing committee. You might have a comment to make, Dr. Maji.
Yes, Dr. Tariq. Thank you so much for your time and for the wonderful hosting, of course, as always. Thank you, Prof, for the presentation as well. I have a quick question, actually. What is the rate of racism in Brazil? Because I have been seeing some of the news somewhere before. I read somewhere that white Brazilians are racist against Black Brazilians. So what happens to Africans if they are there?
Thank you very much, Dr. Maji. I did well. I'll let Doctor respond to that. Probably I can say a thing or two after that. Abba Idris, do you wanna Unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, good day, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My question is about, I have heard you mention all the courses in Brazil is science-related courses. So my question is that, please, is there any social sciences courses, or is only sciences courses in this scholarship? That's my question, sir.
Thank you very much. We'll pick one more if there's any lady. Let's see, I can't see any lady in here. Right, okay. Jeremy, do you wanna unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay, thank you so much. Honestly, this is quite enlightening, and then I'm happy to be here. So quickly, without wasting our time, I have notarized some of my documents, like my degree certificates and some other stuff, because I'm currently in Saudi Arabia working as a veterinary doctor, but then I want to further my studies. So in the process of this application, do I still need to notarize those documents at Ministry of Education and Foreign Affairs? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're muted, Tariq.
Right, okay. Sorry. The first question asked about synergy between GCUB and PEC. Is there any synergy between these two?
Yeah, I've taken note of all the questions actually.
Right, okay, that's fine then. So I'll let you respond to those questions.
Exactly. So first of all, let me thank Professor Rabia also for those really encouraging words, and to say that it's an honor for me to be on this platform. I have always seen the Arewa Mentorship Program from afar. I've always thought you're doing a great job, but I really am super excited and amazed at the number of participants, at the number of interests, and how we have been able to hold them up to this hour. You know, to manage. I work in an international diplomatic organization. So for us, if, for example, I convene a meeting and I'm able to keep like 60 participants up to the end of that meeting, that's a huge achievement. So I really congratulate Dr. Wudu, Professor Rabia, Tariq for putting this together, and the leverage and the support that you're giving to our younger people. Now to the GCUB program. GCUB stands for Grupo de Cooperação de Universidades Brasileiras. It's a cooperation group. So it's another modality, it's another scholarship modality. There are several of them. There's one that's funded by TWAS, the Third World Academy of Science. They also offer a scholarship like that. There are several of them. So you can apply for any scholarship. I also coordinate one right now in Faro where I work. We call it ARIFA, Agricultural Research and Innovation Fellowship for Africa, and mainly training people at PhD, masters, and postdoc levels in Brazil. The scholarship, the amount of scholarship vary, but you can pass across them and really try to take advantage. You asked the question about your publication. So one of the things to do to make sure that your publication is validated is you put your is it called DIO, digital identifier, or DI? Yeah. So that's key. Once you input that in the platform and lattice, it picks up everything. And sometimes you have to register the co-authors also. So there are several challenges, but I'm sure there are questions and answers there, you know, frequently asked questions where you can troubleshoot and get answers. The question on racism, let me just tell you. First, Brazil, before Brazil, there was no Brazil. What we had was a land in Southern America where there were indigenous people, mostly Indians. And then the Portuguese, the Spanish, and some Germans conquered that region like they did Africa. And then they started to bring people, slaves from Africa, and then workers from Europe. So Brazil was founded on slavery. And even when the US abolished slavery, actually Brazil only abolished it over 100 years later. So the way the country is structured right now, there is structured racism. And to use the word of an American author, his name is James Baldwin. I don't know, I'm sure some of us here will know him. He said, to live in America, he was talking about racism in America. He said, to live in America and be educated is to live in anger every day. So if you're a Black person and you live in Brazil, every single day you will see things that will really question your identity as a Black person. So you need a lot of education to be able to manage that, because it's a systemic racism such that it is segregated. There's the white at the top, there's, you know, the lighter ones, the Black. So in the lab, if you go in where you study, you will not see Black people. The only Black people you see are yourself, who has gone there to study. Because Black people, by their very condition of birth, are 4 times more likely to get killed, you know. So a lot of it's quite systematic, but I think it's also a learning ground, because they themselves are not really aware of it. I'm not a sociologist. I have gone through this process. I've lived literally 10 years there. And I came out of that. I've experienced racism on several and different occasions. And I came out of that really very strong and knowing that, look, this is me, Hausa man, Muslim, Nigerian. I know who I am. So it really strengthened me, and it's changing. Since the coming of President Lula, for example, the current president, he started to talk about the issues and really. So racism is a crime in Brazil. You cannot openly and actively discriminate against someone. It's the fastest way to go to jail, for example. But you can see it. You can see prejudice. You can see racism all over. So it's a question of having the emotional intelligence, having the knowledge, because it's a systemic reality, the same that you will find in Germany, for example, but maybe different. That of Brazil is a bit more shocking because you don't expect it. And also, you would expect that because they do have Black people there, you would expect that it's not there, but it's there. So you have to go through. I think it's good. I always say, I think every Nigerian or every African needs to go to Brazil to really understand who they are. I only got to realize how African I am after you know, stepping in Brazil, and I realized this is who I am. So went back and forth. We need that education. It's changing. Level of racism is going down. There's more visibility for Black people, and so on. But it's generally safe, and you would expect the kind of aggression that you may expect, for example, in Europe or in some Arab countries, will be, you know, relatively similar, in a way, manageable. But you can read further. I personally, because it was so personal, I wrote about 3 articles in 2012 about this, you know, because my children are also Brazilian. I have 2 daughters who are actually Brazilians, you know, so they, you can imagine how I would have to really struggle to manage such scenarios. Yes, social science. Yes, there are opportunities for social science. You can check among the list of the courses that are being offered. The question from Abba. Jeremy, who is in the US, who is in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. I don't know, maybe you can find out from the Brazilian embassy in Saudi Arabia. If it's notarized in Saudi Arabia, you would probably take it also to the Brazilian embassy in Saudi Arabia to give them a stamp, their own stamp. So if they endorse it, then I think you're good to go. These are the questions I'll try to answer.
Yes, thank you very much for those wonderful responses. There are a few on the chat box. There's one about health insurance. I know you did talk about the flight ticket, that, you know, one would have to purchase a flight ticket himself. And this one's asking, he understands that's a requirement for health insurance as well. And given that the scholarship isn't guaranteed, like how would one go ahead with this? Do you get the scholarship, I mean the insurance first and then go on to apply, or how does this work? And then there's another question about class of degree, whether that matters. Does the class of degree matters? And then are there any age requirements, any limitation with regards to age? The next one's been answered already. What is the feasibility, or how easy would it be to move with family? Can one move with family, especially for PhDs? And then a question about specific CV guides for the scholarship. Say again?
Can I take these ones that you've listed?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, so first on health insurance. Normally in Brazil, they used to have what they call SUS. SUS is Sistema Universal de Saúde, universal system for health. And it used to be really very, very good. It's free. Every student, including foreigners that go there, they have access, they have automatic access to it. My daughter was born in a hospital with very high level facilities, under that. She's 15 years today. But you can easily get scholarship, health insurance there, affordable ones, if you want to move beyond the public health insurance. I don't know what the situation is. And also you can buy health insurance just for a limited time, pending when you get there, perhaps then you can look at the other options. For class of degree, they don't really consider. I think what the most important is the quality of the proposal that you put, your ability to convince your prospective supervisor, and his interest in your line of research. So try to get someone as much as possible who really aligns with the kind of work that you're doing. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's age limit. There might be maybe at some point for masters and PhD. Not sure for postdoc, but please do check the manual that I will share with the team. Then in terms of moving with the family, yes, you can move with the family. I must say that sometimes it's a bit challenging. I have a few cases of students that are there right now. They've struggled trying to get visa with their family. Also, I must mention at this point, Brazil is a hub for drug trafficking. Most of the drugs that come from Colombia, Southern America, those axes, they fly from Brazil to Addis Ababa, to Africa, and then to Europe. So almost every day, there are cases of our brothers, Nigerians, who are apprehended in airports, having swallowed drugs, dangerous drugs, prohibited drugs. This is on daily basis, and they don't give it. My brother, who was at the time working with the Nigerian consulate in São Paulo, told me all sorts of stories. So there are many Nigerians who are engaged in drug trafficking in São Paulo. So when you're traveling to Brazil from Lagos or from Abuja, be sure that our Nigerian authorities will profile you to make sure that engaging in that business. When you're coming back, before you get back, our Nigerian authorities would have access to the manifest and really detain you. In fact, in Addis, if you're flying Ethiopian airline, what they do is once they suspect, as you come with a Nigerian passport, you're stopped. And this thing has worsened over the years. Hopefully it will improve now, especially with the signing of more agreements. But unfortunately, a lot of Nigerian brothers go there to commit these crimes, and this rub off on all of us. It affects us. Even I, as a diplomat right now, when I travel, it's only when you flash your red passport, then you can see that. But the moment they see your name coming from Brazil or going to Brazil, so be ready for that. And like I said in my presentation, all this, don't feel because it is difficult, because because I will experience racism, because I will have difficulty learning language, because all this, if you allow yourself to dwell on those negative elements, right, you will never move. So be prepared, get ready, to face them. You're honest, you're going there to do your thing, you're going there to study. For racism, you prepare your mind and equip yourself with the emotional intelligence needed to handle it. We do our own racism also at home. There's a way you handle it. So different strokes for different folks, as they say. This challenge with language, challenge with the profiling at airports and so on, visa process. Once you have the right documents, it's easy. Your family can travel there. My family traveled, my wife traveled to Brazil, joined me, and she gave birth to our daughter there, and so on. So yeah.
Thank you very much. That's a question about career pathways. So for those with MBBS degree, apart from academic pathways, is there any other professional pathways? So that's one of the questions from the chat. We'll pick up a few. Aliu Ashafar, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? And notice a number of comments about the slides. We'll try and get these and share that with you on the Telegram page. Aliu Ashafar, can you ask your question, please?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, Doctor. I just want to ask about transcript. Must it be an official transcript or unofficial transcripts are accepted, especially for those in EBU, for those of us in EBU that have difficulty in getting our transcript as hand officially. So I just want to know if unofficial transcripts are acceptable too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ilya Usman Musa, can you unmute yourself? Ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Abdulrazak Ibrahim. Happy to hear that he was from my own hometown. I'm really happy with that. Then also my question concerning acceptance letter. It is only one acceptance letter, or we are just going to try as much as we can, so that I don't know whether we are going to apply for only one university or two. So that's my question.
Thank you very much for that question. And then there was a question that I saw earlier that was talking about whether there's a limit on the universities. Is there any restriction on the universities, Brazilian universities, or does it apply to all universities? Can you apply for each and every university in Brazil? And then we'll ask one more. I can't see our sisters today. I'm not sure what's happening. Probably they're not interested in traveling to Brazil. Adam Umar Duze. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I have two questions. Number one is that what is the future of individuals with associate degree in Brazil, particularly maybe NCE in Nigeria? And will there be any relevant opportunity for them to further education there? One. Shall I ask the second one? Or one by one?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, the second one are there any opportunity for Africans who are into recycling and sustainability for a fully funded and other professional courses or conferences, particularly that talks about circular economy? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Doctor, do you want to respond to this?
Yes, I can take them. All right. So first, there was a question for those with MBBS. Yes, you can go there for master's or PhD, even with an MBBS degree. I was in a class. I completed molecular biology, and I was in a class with many doctors, people that were, they had MBBS, then masters, and then they came to pursue PhD. Ashafar asked a question about transcript, whether. Yes.
Sorry, just on that same question, what about in terms of career pathways after the studies? Say, for example, job opportunities?
So the job opportunities, they are numerous, but as funny as this may sound, and it's really funny, Brazil is the number one competent country in plastic surgery. So figure that. They're also very good in terms of dermatology. They have invented many very innovative solutions. I have seen my colleagues actually developed a material using fish skin that's used to treat burns. All right. So in general, innovation, I think that's part of the career pattern that you can take. They're also really very strong in the aspect of drug development. Almost every single drug that you can imagine can be manufactured. In fact, they even have a name for it. They call it genericos, generic. So if there's ampicillin or any Ozempic, for example, they are able to replicate it. So in the pharmaceutical industry, in surgery, also they have really advanced in that. So, and also it's a question of engaging with your supervisor. I'm sure I'm not in the medical field, but I'm sure if you eventually get a space as an MBBS candidate with your professor there, they will be able to put you through. So Ashafa, your transcript question. So what I did back in my time, I got a copy of my transcript and I took it to Ministry of Education. They stamped it. And then to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they stamped it. And that's it. And the Brazilian authority recognized that. Then for acceptance letter, you need one acceptance letter per university. Now, it is good to apply to as many universities as possible because that can, it means you're diversifying your chances. I'm sorry about this noise. So you can apply to three universities, and the more the merrier. Once you get, you need to succeed. Like I said, you need to succeed once. So there's no restriction. Also, in terms of restriction on the universities. So when you search for universities that would accept you, there's something called Conceito Caps. Conceito Caps. It's the ranking, it's the Brazilian ranking of universities. Brazilian universities are ranked from 1 to 7. Universities that are from 1 to 5, are, in terms of ranking in increasing order. So 1 is really very poor, 2, 5 is good, but we're looking for from 6 to 7. So try to get universities, and it's really competitive to get into those universities. But it doesn't also really matter. Even if you get into a university that's 1 or 2, you can advance and make huge difference. They do not discriminate between HND and normal degree, provided this is recognized as a degree or as a tertiary education certificate that you can present. Allow them, give it to them, let them scrutinize it, and that will be the basis for their decision will be their own matrix of analysis, right? And yes, you can study recycling and sustainability. I myself, I'm partly in part of that in bioeconomy, biotechnology, and so on. And Brazil has really, really advanced in that field.
Thank you very much. I guess we'll take the last set of questions and then we'll call it a day. So there's a comment about English language requirement. Is there any requirement for any English test or anything like that? And then I'll ask on Yusuf Ahmed. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question? I think Ilya Musa have already done that, yeah?
Assalamu
Yeah, Yusuf.
alaikum. Good afternoon. Thank you for picking me up. And I want to ask questions. I'm new here. I was just informed by my friend to join this meeting. I am currently running my master's program. I've already done the coursework. I am on research now. And I want to apply for PhD. So I don't know, is it possible for me to start the process? Because it is maybe around October, November, I will be getting my certificate. So I don't know how I'm going to go about it. That's the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Ahmed Sagir Shehu.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ahmed Sagir Shehu, can you unmute yourself? Ask your question.
Thank you all, and good.
You have two devices on, so you need to put off one.
My question is, I'm getting a problem while applying to this program. The problem is that while after I obtain my ORCID number, so in the application portal, I'm not seeing the PEC-PG column. Instead, I'm just seeing the other collections that are available, but I'm not seeing this
It's quite difficult to understand what you're saying. I did understand that you've logged in and to the ORCID, but then I think you're having challenges locating the universities or something. Probably when you go over the recordings, probably that might have already been addressed. Aminu Hashim, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Hashim, are you there?
Dr. Tariq, we have a few things here.
Okay, so maybe we just get. I can see there's a lady, Mariam. Oops, she's dropped down, so I think she's put her hands down. Right, have you picked up a few things up there? Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, actually, many people are asking whether they can get the recording of the session and also the presentation. I think usually maybe they are the first timers, as it is in our tradition. We will share the recording and the presentation slides on the Telegram page of the AYMP later. So please, that's not an issue. And also, I received some questions. Some people are asking, like, how easy is it to get the visa to Brazil? They feel like, I think it's a bit difficult to get the visa. So maybe some few tips could help for now, yeah. And then during the course of the presentation, Dr. Abdulrazak has mentioned some few things about development programs, international development and all that. So like you said, maybe we will find time. Of course, these 2 hours is not enough. We need to tap more from your wealth of experience. So I think, inshallah, we will talk and arrange some other time to present maybe on some other related issues regarding the development activities and other things, of course. So these are just a few things that I wanted to add.
Thank you, Doctor. I think Doctor can respond to those, and then we'll call it a day.
Sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Tariq, and thank you, Dr. Yakubu, for those words. My doors are open. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me anytime for another session. I've actually dropped my WhatsApp number to you, so you can add me to the. I'm not sure I'm on Telegram, but maybe I'll register. So you can add me to
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Yes. Then English language. So Brazil is a Lusophone. It's a Portuguese-speaking country. That's the official language. So there's no requirement for English. I know that there's a lot of effort now in the country to internationalize some of their universities because that attracts higher ranking for them globally as institutions for the universities. So, in fact, as you will see, when you get there, just for being able to, for speaking English, you are like a hotcake also. So let's look at that positive side also. One of the things I did while I was there to earn extra income was to translate papers. So a lot of papers for my colleagues, I translated them from Portuguese to English for them. I reviewed them. I was teaching English to people, to individuals. All right. So there are lots of opportunities that you can use. I also use the opportunity to even improve my own English qualification, because in some universities, they offer to pay for you to take take the TOEFL exam. All right. Government has a national program to support Brazilians to learn English. So as a student, you're also entitled to it. So I use that opportunity to improve my own certification of English, although I was already fluent. The gentleman having problem linking their OSIT account into the link, I think check the manual. That will be there. I think there are there's response on that. Yusuf, who is running their MSc and expecting to get the certificate by October. Okay, maybe if you can get a statement of results and it's acceptable by your supervisor, that could help. But I will suggest that since it's October and you can fast track the process of, you can, for example, the admission, the registration, the application closes September, right? So I don't know, you discuss with your prospective, first get the supervisor, discuss with them, and then if they are accept, maybe if you can get a statement of result from, or a testimonial from your university stating that you have defended and you're going to get your certificate in this so and so time, that might work. The visa application process is done online. As you will see, for example, just the way you're filling the PEC-PG form, the visa application is also virtual. There are various steps, and you submit, you eventually come up with a form where you sign and affix your photograph and submit. It takes time, usually 1 to 2 months. I've seen people with 3 months. So once you're clear and you're sure you're admitted, you can start the process of visa application 3 months before you travel, because like I said, it takes time. So be sure to give yourself enough time for the application. And I think these are the questions that I have captured.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Abdulrazak. It's really wonderful to have you today. And as Dr. Yakubu mentioned, we'll definitely get you back some other day to tap more into your knowledge and speak probably about some of the things that we briefly highlighted today. So we really appreciate your time, and I'm sure a lot of our participants, we ourselves have learned quite a lot from this session. But don't remember for the participant that the discussion wouldn't end here. You can always continue the discussion in the Telegram page. The organizing committee, as well as other mentors, are more than happy to support where we can, obviously. So I think this would bring us to the end of the session. Once again, we really appreciate your time. Dr. Yakubu, do you have anything to add? Or Dr. Maji? If not, we'll call it a day.
I think we can call it a day. It's just that we have to really express, our appreciation to Dr. Abdulrazak once again for finding time to, educate us on this important aspect. Thank you very much, Prof. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Really, really grateful for the time, actually. And thanks to all the participants as well for the patience. And my door, like I said, continues open. Please do engage anytime through Dr. Yakubu, Dr. Tariq, and I'm more than willing to support you.
All right. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely afternoon. Thank you. Alaikum salam. Bye.
You can also be part of it as a mentor or student. Join the Arewa Youth Mentorship Program on Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. AYNP, together we can be great.